Hi everyone, I'm Anne. I'm a compulsive overeater, and just like you, I weigh and measure food off the gray sheet. I eat 3 meals a day with nothing in between except abstinent beverages and water. And I commit my food to my sponsor every night. I eat what I commit, and abstinence is the most important action that I take in my life every single day. And I want to let you know that my high weight is 320 pounds. And at my last weigh-in January 1st, I'm sorry, February 1st, I weighed 151. So that's 169 pounds gone. Um, I also want to let you know that I've been a compulsive overeater since the age of 9. And I'm almost 62, so that's a long time for being a compulsive overeater. Um, I've got some before pictures. I need to uh, unblur my background so you can see them. Uh, Here are some of my before pictures. This was when I was pretty close to 320 pounds. This was on my 50th birthday, and it said the little chef's hat said "Happy Birthday," and I had picked out this dress just for my little 50th birthday dinner, and I thought that I looked so good in it. But then when I saw the pictures, I'm like, oh no. The other important part of my story is that in 2006, at the advice of my doctors, I had bariatric surgery and I lost 120 pounds. But within 4 years, I gained all but 15 pounds of it back. And the reason why is they operated on my stomach and not my brain. And even with a tiny stomach, I figured out a way to soothe myself with food by basically grazing all day long. And all of the pictures you see here are after I had bariatric surgery. And so again, in this picture, I was meeting a friend for lunch down at the beach, and I thought, oh, I can wear shorts, which I rarely do because I thought I looked so good in them. And then I saw the picture and I was horrified. And then this is at my youngest son's confirmation ceremony. And I picked out this dress, and it was actually a Ralph Lauren dress, and they make bigger sizes now. And I thought, oh, I'll look so great in this dress. But I knew that I was overweight, so I had this little gift bag where I was trying to hide myself behind it, but the gift bag just wasn't big enough. Um, there's one other picture that I want to point out to you that's really important to my story, and that's this one. This is a family picture taken at Disneyland, and I'm the little girl in the red outfit. At the time, I was the largest kid in school, and the teachers picked me to be the Santa Claus for one year's Christmas pageant. And I was really sad that they did, but then I decided I was going to be the best Santa Claus I could be. And I was. And at the time, I was tutoring kindergartners and trying to teach them how to read. And they recognized me. And and many of them thought that I was the real Santa Claus. And so they treated me like a rock star. So that was like a real early case of God taking something that was so painful for me and turning it into a really beautiful experience. The other thing you'll notice is I have very short hair, and that's because my parents were both civil engineers and they were very practically minded. And they felt that getting your hair cut in a salon was a waste of money. But the problem was, we would all go to the barber shop to get our hair cut. And because I was wearing a lot of Husky Boys clothing, I was always mistaken for being a little boy. And that made me very sad. So as soon as I could um, afford to have um, salon haircuts by babysitting, I started taking myself to the salon, and it was like at least a mile walk for me as a fat little kid to get to the salon. But I never, ever wanted to be mistaken for a boy again. And so that's why my hair is still long. It's like I'm 61 and my hair's still long, and everybody's saying, oh, you should think about cutting it. But I don't think I ever will because of just everything I went through as a little kid. Beginning at the age of 9, I um, was on my first diet, and it was 500 calories a day. And that didn't work. And so the doctor at the time put me on amphetamines. And I think back on that, and a 9-year-old kid being on amphetamines is just crazy to me. That didn't work either. It just made me like really hyper and everything else. And I'm going to tell the story out of order. And the problem, uh, my family was very chaotic, and my sister was a compulsive overeater, anorexic, bulimic, and she started very early at being anorexic, and she would tease me constantly for being overweight. And then, whenever I went to Weight Watchers, she would tease me and saying, "Oh, wow, you're going to Weight Watchers again. You're just going to gain it all back." She was like the most unsupportive person. In uh, 1990, I discovered OA because a friend had taken me there. She was a Weight Watcher lecturer, and she was looking great, and she had been suspended from Weight Watchers because she had kept gaining her weight back. But she looked great, and I said, "What are you doing?" Because my problem was I would get down to 200, I would get down to 199, and then I would like gain everything back. It was like if I was 199, I was hip, slick, and cool. If I wasn't, I was dieting. So that went on for years, but my friend told me about OA, and she took me to my first meeting in 1990. And of course, my sister found out about it. She thought that this was absolutely ridiculous. My parents were angry because for the first time in my life, I was setting boundaries with them, and they felt that I had joined a cult. And they tried to hire a cult deprogrammer. And the cult deprogrammer, I guess, interviewed them and said, "So what exactly is going on?" And they told him about how I was this sweet daughter that was very dutiful. And then I joined Overeaters Anonymous, and I became this person that would tell them no. And the cult deprogrammer said, "Your daughter's awesome. She should keep going. You guys are the ones that need help." And my parents were so angry. So they instantly hated OA and anything to do with 12-step programs. The other thing along the same lines is after about 12 years, OA didn't work for me. And the problem was because I love OA, and that's where I learned the steps. That's where I learned the big book. I still have really good friends in that program, and I sometimes even get asked to lead OA meetings because nobody's abstinent, at least in my area. And when I do lead those OA meetings, I give them the same gray sheet pitch I'm giving you today, and I tell them that. And I in 2002, I went to CEA How. That didn't work. I tried Weight Watchers again. That didn't work. And all this whole time, my sister was still a anorexic bulimic. But then when she turned about 40, she became a regular compulsive overeater like us, and she gained a lot of weight. But the reason why she stopped her anorexic bulimic behavior was because she had too high of dental bills. And so all this time, though, she was teasing me about being an OA and gray sheet or 12-step food plans, but she kept doing her own thing. In 2018, she was found dead in her home. And because of that, they had to do an autopsy. And when they did that, she was
5
diagnosed,
minutes left.
thank you, she was diagnosed with untreated high blood pressure. She had kidney problems. She had um, aortic problems. She had two of her aortas were significantly damaged. Even if they weren't, she had clogged arteries. It was a mess. So I asked my doctor, hey, can you do a full workup on me? Because I'm afraid it might be genetic as to what happened to my sister. And so they did, and I passed everything perfectly. And except I have this one little teeny tiny issue with one aorta that they may have to do something about when I'm like in my late 70s. And I said, what's that about? And they said, did you ever take fen-phen? And I'm like, no, I never did. Well, did you ever take amphetamines? Why, yes, I did when I was 9 years old for about 6 months. And they said, that's probably what caused your little aortic problem that you have today. And the bottom line is I've like stayed in the problem the whole time that I've been talking. The solution is gray sheet. For me, after my same friend who took me to OA, she ended up taking me to my first gray sheet meeting. It took me 2 years to become abstinent in gray sheet, but I finally did on August 5th, 2017. And the first 3 weeks were so hard for me because I was a sugar addict. Um, but after that, it was like cruising. And I had told her from the get-go, I can't do gray sheet. This is impossible. And she said, well, why don't you just try it for 3 months and see what happens? After 3 months, I had lost 40 pounds and my skin had cleared up. I was struggling with fibromyalgia and other like muscle problems. All of that was gone. And she said, okay, congratulations. You get your 90-day chip. What do you want to do next? And I'm like, I want to stay doing exactly what I'm doing. And I have. And that was the best decision in my life. I've had lots of other issues go on besides my sister dying. I had to clean out her horrible house and was on prednisone for 4 years to control my asthma. And during that time, I gained some weight, but then I stayed steady at 230 pounds doing the gray sheet. And there were, my sponsor asked me if I was really abstinent. My other people would make comments like, what's going on, Ann? You talk a good game, but your body doesn't match. I'm like, I don't know. So anyway, as soon as my sister's house was cleaned out, I no longer had to be on prednisone.
Two
And
minutes.
thank you. I started losing weight again. And within like months, I was like in the like under 200 pounds, and the weight just kept coming off. And if you look back on that time, and I've done it, my average weight loss over like 6 years was probably no more than 1.5 pounds a month. And that is slow. That is very slow. But the bottom line is you keep at it and it works. It really works. And so my doctor told me that I shouldn't lose any more weight, which is the first time I have ever been told that in my entire life. And I'm a miracle. And I have a God who loves me no matter what. And he loves me just the way I am. And I came from a background of having a very punishing God, but that God doesn't exist in my world. So if you're a newcomer and you're counting days, keep going. Don't quit before the miracle happens. If I can do it, you can do it. And this program works so much. I mean, I go to probably about 3 meetings a week, and I currently sponsor 5 people, which is a lot, but there's problems with people not wanting to sponsor anymore, and that concerns me. And I don't know if it's because people aren't qualified to sponsor or they don't want to. The other thing I'm concerned, I'm going to bring this up right now, is nobody wanted to read the 12 steps at this meeting. I have seen that over and over and over again. And I don't know what it is about people going to meetings and just sitting there and not wanting to be a part and, wanting everyone else to do the reading for them. I host a meeting on Sunday night. The same thing happens there too. And I just don't get,
Time.
thank you. So whenever I'm on a meeting, I have all of the traditional gray sheet meeting readings with me, but I expect that home groups, you know, step up to, but when they don't, I do it. So for those of you who aren't being of service, service is what saves you. Even reading the 12 steps at a meeting will save you. It's like insurance against the disease. And going to meetings, making friends, and being abstinent one day at a time, one meal at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time, will get you there. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, Elle, for asking me, and thank you for allowing me to be your leader today.